Peace, everyone, and welcome to the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. And today we are talking about the war in heaven and what it looks like. So let's first talk. Oh, excuse me. Let's first talk about how this topic came up, and then we'll proceed. Um, so in our last video on I forget what it's called right now. So VJ was a guest on that show. He's right here with me, as well as a few others was here. Shay Yu was here, and Salima Ellis was here, and I think that was it. And Shay Yu had a question of VJ was describing some incidents, and I'm sure he'll cover those again today. And so Shay Yu was like, "Well, I wonder what the war in heaven looks like," and she was just simmering on that thought. And then Salima had wanted to talk about it more, and it was near the end of the show, so we cut it short. And I figured that type of question and our perspectives on what the war in heaven looks like was at least another hour. So we're discussing that today. I want to say that show was called, I don't know what that show was called right now, but anyway, we're gonna move on. So I'm gonna have VJ tell everyone who he is and where you all can find him.
The means like your audio is not that clear to me. So are you able to hear me properly? So this is Vijay Santosh, and I own an artificial intelligence blockchain developing company. I I own a mobile application development company, web development company called NagaIntelligence.com. You can browse the website www.nagaintelligence.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Santosh Ada, and YouTube. If you type in on YouTube, if you type in Red Dragon, my video will come up, and you can subscribe me from there. And on Twitter, Naga13, on Facebook, Raj Kumar, you can find me. So, and you can also reach me through WhatsApp on 918977785044. So these are all my numbers, and I've been on different platforms. So mostly I'm a software professional. I specialize in 50 different computer languages, and and what I do is like working in a tech field, as well as I'm an expert in, I can call myself an expert in different religions, because I specialize in Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Zen teachings, because I was practicing them, and Islam, Christianity. So I study all these religions, and I was involved in different religious practices, cults which are India, and mostly I've been no I've been with a lot of gurus who teach all of these things, and I read enormous books, a lot of books on all the Kundalini activation, Kundalini meditation, pranayama, uh, yoga, pranayama, meditation, and the occult studies about the and deities that appear, even Egyptian deities, Sumerian deities, and deities of Atlantis. So this is my brief profile. So I'm here to discuss about the one heaven that is going. Most of the knowledge is knowledge that I gained through meditation, through fasting, and through my personal experiences. So this is what I want to share.
Very good. And gratitude, VJ, for sharing that. Now, for those who will view this, um, VJ is in southern India. And so, like right now, there are some audio issues. So that would be part of the problem. Why? And also at times why his video is still it's not moving. Back to the video where this topic came from. So it was 4 days ago, and it's called Revealed Ancient Cities, Temples, and Creatures. And so that's where this topic came from. And so Mother Matriarch Salima, who is joining us now, she's the one who wanted to talk more about what the War in Heaven looks like. And so we'll be discussing that today. And while she is here and we have a pause, I'd like for her to tell everyone who she is and where you can find her.
Peace and love, family. You can find me on Facebook on my page, Salima Ellis. You can also find my school page, Universal Mind School of Evolution, right here on Facebook. And you can also find me on Facebook Pattern Masters, where I have a page of videos like these that I post for people who want to put the pattern together for their world. And thank you again for letting me join the build, and I can't wait.
Gratitude. Let's see here. All right. So, we'll bring VJ back here in the room. Okay, so oh, I didn't introduce myself, huh? All right. So I am Joy Allen. That's what I'm known as on Facebook. And here on YouTube, I'm known as the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. You can follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at MKDTNT. And also, if you would like, you can accept the dollar challenge. Cash at me at $TNT96MRD. And D Calico is supposed to be joining us as well. He actually set out the dollar challenge for everyone. So you meet the challenge or not from D Calico. And let's see here. So moving on, we are talking about the War in Heaven and what it looks like. So VJ, are you here with us? Okay. Salima, if you would, could you share on the what you heard and or observed in the last video and how we came here today from your own words?
For me,
Well, actually, Shay, you kind of started it about the War in Heaven after VJ was explaining that the great Amma was starting a war, and I disagreed with him. I had read a verse. He had read a couple of verses out the Bible, and I picked up from there because he said that the Amma was the dragon, and I said no, the Amma was the woman being pursued by the dragon. And during this part of the discussion, he mentioned that that there was a war in heaven. Amma was upset and she wasn't in her proper place. And so Matriarch Shayu then said she would like to know what a war in heaven was like. Like, how could you picture a war in heaven? And we all thought that that would be a great topic to keep going from our previous session and, you know, keep it rolling. It was very interesting.
Gratitude. And VJ, you had something you wanted to share? VJ. Okay. Let's see here. So, Mother Matriarch Salima, do you want to talk about your perspective of what the War in Heaven is?
Well, of course, I had to take some notes because that is a very one of the things that I thought the war in heaven looked like is what was happening right here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
When we think of heaven, the etymology dictionary tells us that heaven is the home of God, but in the Bible it says humans can't live in the home of God. So, but to my understanding, from a matriarch's understanding, Earth is one of the many realms in heaven because you look skyward. So when you look up heaven in the etymology, it says heaven, sky, sharp, or state of bliss. Now, some would consider what we're going through here on earth to be hell on earth, except I tend to disagree depending on your state of being, like your state of mind. If you're experiencing interaction with the DOBs, you might feel like this is hell on earth for you. And at one point in my unenlightened stage, I felt like this was hell on earth, you know. But as I became more enlightened, I began to realize I wasn't in my proper status. I wasn't in my proper place. And once I began to remove some of the veils of ignorance from the indoctrination, I started to realize I'm being in my proper place, and the things that I previously encountered, which made this realm seem like hell, was no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think of heaven, you have to think of the planets of the realm, or heaven, the celestial bodies, and Earth is one of the celestial bodies. Celestial bodies are part of the heaven. So part of that war is happening here on our planet in this particular realm of hell, of heaven. So my opinion that this is one of the places where war in heaven is taking place. And based on its outcome here, it will either spread to other realms. It could be going on other realms. So when Shayi brought that up as an idea, like what does that look like? It looks like what's going on right here in the realm in which we live now.
Okay. Let's see here. And VJ again is having some technical difficulties. Um, and so we'll proceed either way. And let's see here. Um, hold on, he's coming back in. He's attempting to. VJ. VJ. You with us, VJ? Okay, I can see you. Can't yet hear you. I'm not able to hear you yet, VJ. Maybe try taking your ear.
I'm
Oh, there you
experiencing
go.
problem with the internet, so something is happening. I don't know. We want to talk on this issue, and something is happening.
Yeah,
I
your
don't
audio is
know.
coming in and out. Your audio's in and out.
So I will be there. That means like the audio is not
Now,
clear.
VJ, if you want, I can leave your image up here and you can call me and I'll play what you have to say by the phone. So you can call me on Messenger and then I'll play your voice over the microphone from my phone. So I'm gonna mute your mic.
Yeah, everything is. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you now. So VJ, you want to tell us um, the war in heaven?
That means uh,
Yeah, your audio's not good, VJ.
the internet is very poor. I mean,
Okay. So we're gonna attempt to get VJ on the phone so we can hear what he's saying. And I don't and actually he was on a desktop when we were preparing and he had to switch to an iPhone and he's still having some issues. And I'm thinking since he's on the iPhone, he may not be able to call me on Messenger and appear here visually. So since you already seen him, you know what he looks like. We're going to attempt to get him on the phone here. A few moments, please. VJ.
yeah, they are playing with my internet. Something is happening, so I was unable to log into the StreamYard, and
Can
I
you hear
tried
him,
to
Selena?
log into through using another internet. So that one is very weak. So I don't know. I can do the show now.
Yeah, you can do the show by phone. We can hear
By
you.
phone, yeah, that is what I tried.
No, just how you are right. Hold on. I mean how you are right now. You can just keep talking and appear on the show this way by voice.
All right.
Okay. So so Matriarch Salima just gave her recap of how we got to the show today. And it was based on some comments that you had about the war in heaven and what it looks like. Did you get what she had shared? Or do you want her to say it again?
Please, I need a recap again.
Okay.
Not hear what should be.
Okay. If you could, Mother Salima, recap for VJ.
My take on the war in heaven, or how this session started.
Both.
Okay. In the previous session, he talked about I'm a mama, and that she was not in her proper state. She was at war, and he had read a few Bible verses, and I had disagreed when he read Revelations 12. That he said that the Amma Mama was the dragon, and I said no, the Amma Mama was the woman being pursued by the dragon, and that is what started the dragon's pursuit of her is what really started the war in heaven. Based on that last session, Shayu, Matriarch Shayu at the time said she was interested to like, how can you even picture a war in heaven? And that's how this session came to be, based on the statements from the previous session. So in this, then you just asked me what was my take on the war in heaven, and I said that it was exactly what was happening here on earth, because earth was one of the 9 realms of heaven. And the war, based on how things go here on this planet, will decide some of what happens in the within the other realms of the heavens. That I also stated that all of the planets were celestial bodies, and that the earth was one of the celestial bodies, and this was heaven. But heaven was also, when you looked up etymology, when you looked up heaven in the etymology dictionary, that it was also a state of bliss, which means heaven is not just happening to us, and this war is not just happening to us physically, it's happening to us soulfully and mentally, and based on our perceptions. So we are in the realm of heaven, and what's happening here on earth is one of many battlegrounds.
And VJ, hold on right quick because D Calico just joined us. D Calico, you with us?
Yes, peace.
Peace. Welcome to the show. If you would share with everyone who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah, you know, it's your boy D Calico. You know, y'all come find me on the on YouTube at the Alhambra Society, and you know, check out my Supreme Shock Etymology series. You know, or just find me on YouTube as D Calico. You know, but speaking on what the sister was saying, like from my studies, there's 10 levels of heaven. Like people will tell you there's 7, but they're not counting what we call earth, the sky, and I guess it might be beneath earth. Beneath earth might be like Sheol, might be like the first level, and like they say the heaven doesn't like quite begin until like the firmament, which is like the moon. You know, until you get to the moon, which is like the fourth heaven, then you're not in what most religions would consider heaven. But like she's right though, that's why it's as above, so below, because this is one of those 10 levels of heaven.
Gratitude for sharing that. VJ, could you share what you have for us as well?
Yeah, that means like Mother Salima has said, like what happens on the planet, the earth affects the heavenly realms. So I want to say that as D. Calico had said, there are 10 dimensions. That means like we go with 13 dimensions as it is like the 13 dimensions of creation out there. So some say there are 64 dimensions, right? Because Krishna, that means Christ is from 64th dimension into the earth. Means he came out through those dimensions. So we always speak about like 13 levels to the heaven to reach the heaven. The Canis major, Canis minor. So that is where the heavenly realm is. So the children are living on the planet Earth, and the elders are living in other planets. And what happens is like there is a black hole which want to suck up everything. There is a black hole which want to suck up everything in the constellation of Virgo. I came to know about them like in while reading the books on computer science, the clean code and everything. So there is a huge black hole which want to suck up, because like the black hole is the mother, and we came from the mother, and she wants to take us all back and destroy everything. So that is what it's all about. And as Queen Mother Salima said, heaven earth is also a extension of heaven. That means like we have an underworld here under this earth, and on the earth, on the surface of the earth, it is also like hell. So this is not a heaven, but when you experience God, and He will have His angels and His protection, and then the dimensions would be changing for that particular individual, and it becomes a heaven on earth for him, because he won't be experiencing all the pain the other people would be experiencing. This is a hellish realm. You have to eat, you have to go to the bathroom, whatever you have to struggle to earn your living or whatever. And for others, it will be heaven. It would be heaven for some people, because of the Most High or the Mother. So you got to be in one of the two camps to experience heaven on the earth. And for all the others, it is a test. And there is a war going on between the Great Mother and the Father, the Holy Father. And when this war is going on, you have we are the children, and we are not supposed to see what's going on between the elders. So they hide everything. And even the technology they gave to us is very primitive technology, very low technology that the Most High or the Mother gives to the children, just to keep us in this dimension, just to keep us going. She gives the knowledge how to build the apartments or how to build the houses. She gives knowledge how to make a computer. Even if you see the computer, you have the motherboard inside. Without the mother, there's nothing. And even the father gives little technologies to the children. And we are kept here. And when we look into the space, we see the spaceships flying. We see all kinds of things happening, and we don't know what's happening outside. And the NASA or whomever they're saying they went to the moon, etc. and etc. But there is a big firmament there. When you look into the Genesis chapter 1, above the firmament there is water, and below the firmament there is water. And I believe that now we are on the planet Earth, where we have to toil, we have to work hard to live. This is a hellish realm. This is not a heavenish realm. And what is there is like Most High likes the human beings, as well as the Mother also likes the human beings, because we are their children, and they want us to be a part of their system, and they want to be with us, because both of them are not living together. That's what it is. And the Father is, that means when you go into the Genesis chapter 4, you see Father had walked with Enoch, the son of Cain. Cain is a murderer, and he bore a son called Enoch. And the Father had walked with him for 300 years. So he likes the human beings. He likes us. And that is why he wants to take us into the kingdom. That's the only thing there. And we got no power whatsoever to affect them. They are too huge. And when you look into the black hole, it is the size of many galaxies, and that black hole will suck up the stars. And when you look into the Genesis, when you look into the Revelation chapter 12, we find that the tail of the dragon had taken away the third of the stars in the heaven. So that is what is happening. So our realm is very small, but what we have the bloodlines and everything, and we have very limited power. And many people think that the black magic works, all this witchcraft and wizardry works, but there is Father, and Father doesn't allow it to work. And when we think like this, the things that in the Christianity or written in the book, they work, but the Mother is always also there. She doesn't make it to work. So that is why nobody's magic is working here on the planet Earth, and that is why we are in the situation as we are. So this is what I want to speak on. So anybody want to talk about them, they can speak.
Gratitude for sharing all of that value, VJ. Matriarch Mother Salima, do you have a response?
I wasn't clear, but it sounded like he said that the Great Mother didn't make it to Earth. Is that correct?
VJ, did you say the Great Mother did not make it to Earth?
Great Mother is the creator of the planet Earth. She is the co-creator of the planet Earth. We came from the Great Mother, and we call Mother Nature because she is responsible. Because Father and Mother, it's yin and yang.
So she is here on Earth?
Her presence is always on the earth.
Her presence is always on the earth. Okay. She said, okay. You have any?
Okay.
Okay.
No, not right now.
Okay. D Calico, you have something? D Calico, you still with us?
That's my apologies. I had to unmute my mic.
Okay.
I said I'm all right at this moment. I'm gonna just jump back in, as the discussion goes on. I'm trying to catch up with VJ.
Okay. All right, VJ. Hold on.
All right. So
So I could ask him this.
Hold on, VJ. Go. Yes, D Calico.
I said I could ask VJ this, like when we talking about the dragon in heaven, is the dragon another avatar of the Great Mother? Another form of hers? VJ?
He said exactly.
Oh, it is? So, okay. And the Great Mother, of course, predating the rest of heaven. I mean, that story is kind of rough. I mean, I can tell that you have studied all cultures, VJ, but like, do they rely on the Bible where you're from?
Bible is only a reference to the Moors. Bible is written for the Moors. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And people here doesn't know Bible because I studied everything. That is why I can decode it. Because the people whom I'm being with, they follow the Great Mother. That's it. Great Mother is everything for them. They don't know the Most High or the Bible stories, whatever. And I came to read the Revelation chapter, and then something sparked in my brain. Wow, he's talking about the Great Mother. Nobody has put a link to the Bible and the dragon and the Great Mother and the Amman that we are talking about, cults. That is what it is.
Would you say that the primordial gods are androgynous?
Androgynous, that means like it is only the creation. I don't believe in that because there are masculine, feminine, and androgynous beings are the creation of Amma. So they are next. They're after the Great Mother or Mother's department, or after she's been kicked out from the heaven, then she started developing these androgynous beings.
When they say that, when they say the dragon of heaven, can you kind of see that they were saying the androgynous of heaven?
Androgynous, that means like this androgynous being it's like Baphomet image came along. It was referred to as Satan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Satanists pray to the Baphomet, right? So the Satan had converted itself into, that means Satan was originally that means according to my esoteric knowledge and according to our cults, the Satan is first a female, then it has transformed itself into a male, and then it transformed it. One of its form is androgynous being. So always the mother gives them certain kind of power. Even the mother doesn't like the ways of the Satan. It gives it always protects the Satan, and Satan also got certain power. So that is what it is. Sure. So it has transformed into androgynous being as well. But nothing, that means in this creation there is always yin and yang, and androgynous thing is like the creation of a white man. That's what I feel like, because the Baphomet image is not a valid image where you draw your energy from. So that is what it is.
I mean, like the Baphomet is in all actuality Sophia, because when you put the word Baphomet through the Atbash cipher, because all of the Bible should be decoded, all the way up to the book of Jeremiah, all the way up to the book of Jeremiah and all that, they have, they have decodings like the Atbas cipher that we're supposed to take these words through this cipher to get the true meaning. You feel me? And the word like Baphomet, when you put it through the Atbas cipher, you get the word Sophia. So Sophia meaning wisdom, and
Sophia is also the mother of creation for this Gnostic religion.
Yeah,
right?
because all of Egypt was named after Sophia at one point in history. Or it's you can refer to Egypt by calling it Sophia.
So we are just like in the starting point. Like I said, like I had realized that in the Bible, the dragon, the great mother, and in the Vedas and in the Hindu text, it's the great mother. So I had made a connection there, and then we go on from there, decoding the Bible because there are a lot of things in the Bible to be decoded, and it's Bible decoding as well as decoding in the ancient Sanskrit scripts or the Hindu scripts, because there is always a connection, and we don't have to come to a conclusion because we haven't. That means we haven't seen those beings, and what I come to know is when you're traveling to the Kuli path, that is the path to the Great Mother's heaven. So we have a heaven for heaven created by the Most High, and you also have a heaven created by the Great Mother. And when you're traveling through it, you'll find all these beings. So you will experience it because I'm traveling through this tree of life. So I come to see these angels and everything. So it is up to you which path you take, the right hand path or left hand path. And when you take any path, you will find all these beings too, like Baphomet and everything. So I'm traveling through this path. So I have found like little angels with wings, and then the huge angels with wings. I have found and I found the Most High and the Elohim. So I'm traveling. My path is this way, this direction. And if you choose the left hand path and the Great Mother's path, you will find all these beings. So they would be able to. That means I got people telling me that they can. You can, even if you follow certain instructions given by them, you can actually see those spirits. So I did not go through that process. So that is what I know, because everybody doesn't know everything. So this is what the practices here they do.
Okay. Now DeCalico is sharing a screen with us, and before we go into what he is sharing, BJ, are you able to view the broadcast or not?
I'm unable to view the broadcast.
Okay. So right now, DeCalico, what I'm going to do first is acknowledge the comments that we have so far. Water the Plants says, hang in there. Peace, Water the Plants. I think that's from when we were having technical difficulties earlier. Gratitude for the support, because I was wondering how to handle all that. More Life says peace from YouTube as well. Peace to More Life. And I appreciate you being here as well. She's always in attendance. And Water the Plants says to DeCalico, I'm thinking, what's the cipher called again?
Yeah, I'm gonna get into all of that with this. Hold on 1 second. Hold
all
on,
right.
One with my page.
So VJ, right now, DeCalico has up on the screen a picture of the Baphomet.
All right. So
that he's sharing.
I'm going to tell you some things which I know about Baphomet.
Hold on, VJ. DeCalico, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on, VJ.
Yeah.
He wants to hear this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, mentions of Baphomet have been found in documents dating from as early as the 11th century, appearing in an early Crusaders letter dating to 1090, although not in his current image. The name itself is said to have connections to early Islam, as chroniclers referred to a mosque as Baphomeres, you feel me, or Baphomeria. You know, like even the Knights Templars, like when they break down the word Baphomet, you can do it backwards. You can render the word backwards, and you get Tim, Tem, you know, which is also a Atum. Atum is Tim, but Tim meaning temple, and Op, and then Ab, meaning like the Father. You feel me? So it's the temple of the Father, and that's just in the Knights Templars, you know, studies or whatever. But something Baphomet is an old French corruption of the name Mohammed. You feel me? The Latinized Mohammed, like Baphomet, the prophet of Islam. During the Crusades, the Knights Templars stayed for extended periods of time in Middle Eastern countries, but they became adept with the teachings of Arabian mysticism, which they brought back to Europe, forming the basis of what would later become known as Western occultism. The Templars' affinity with Arabian mysticism led to the church accusing them of worshiping a Muslim idol named Baphomet. It kind of like goes back to like becoming a Shriner and all that Freemasonry stuff. You know, the Shriners, when they become these 33rd degrees, you know, they worship Allah. You know, so that's probably another reason they hate that we, you know, get into these kind of religions. It's like, hold on, how you gonna jump to some 33rd degree science and leave my Jesus alone? You know, you're supposed to still be down here in Christianity, you know, with the deaf, dumb, and the blind, but now you already done made it to the 33rd degree, up here worshiping Allah already. You know what I'm saying? And many higher levels than that, but you know, make us think it's only 33. But hold on. Art Darrow, an author and teacher of Sufi mysticism and magic, argued in his book A History of Secrets, the Baphomet came from the Arabic word Abu Bahama, meaning the father of understanding. And, like they're saying, translating the Dead Sea Scrolls as an expert on Jewish cipher called the Atbar cipher, the Dead Sea Scrolls, you know, and Jewish cipher that I'm talking about was called the Atbar cipher. Hopefully y'all can see that name. See right here? That's what the brother wanted to know how to spell it. Atbar.
It's ATBASH, one word, cipher.
Yeah, CIPHER, which was used in translating some of them. He claimed that when one applied the same cipher to this word Baphomet, it transposed into the Greek word Sophia. You know, it's SOPHYA, and back then. But you know, we could write it with an IA, but which means they're saying it means wisdom. I mean, they're saying that it means knowledge or wisdom, but we know that Sophia truly means wisdom. You know, and can be synonymous with, you know, a goddess. And the Atbar cipher is a Hebrew code which substitutes the first letter of the alphabet for the last, the second letter for the second to last, and so on. When Hebrew letters spelling Baphomet are applied to the Atbar cipher, it generates the Greek word Sophia. So to truly decode the Bible is gonna take, you know, ciphers like the Atbar cipher, you know, and gematria. You know, it's gonna take gematria and things like the Atbar cipher to ever truly say that we decoding the Bible. Because the numerology, which is the gematria of the Bible, is no mistake. You'll be surprised, like how the numerology of certain numbers, like any other word that equates to that same number, you'll be like, wow, all of these words have that same power. You'll know why. You'll start to know why. It won't be no mistake. It won't be, you know, it won't be two polar opposites equating to the same thing. It's gonna only be things that fall under the same category, seemingly. Like when you're saying love, you know, it's like it's only gonna allow other words, other great words like love to equate with this word. And that's gematria. But if one writes the Baphomet in Hebrew, Hebrew letters are read from right to left, and you apply the Atbash cipher, he revealed the following: the word Baphomet, Bet Pe Vav Mem Tav, with the Atbash cipher, Shin Vav Pe Yud Alif, spells Sophia. Although written in Hebrew, it reads as the Greek word Sophia again, meaning wisdom. The Hebrew scribes or rabbinic sages, known as Tanaim, repeaters or teachers, used to write manuscripts similar to this called plowing the field or ox turning. Because when you read, you're supposed to read from right to left on the first line, left to right on the second line, back to right to left on the third line, and so on, alternating each line. This kind of back and forth reading has been called the serpent way. Academically speaking, this method is referred to as bi-directional text, or Bull's Trophodon, which was used in many ancient scripts, including hieroglyphics. I just wanted to, get us acclimated with that.
Gratitude for sharing that. And when you spoke of the Atbash cipher and the letters, like A, the first letter is the last letter. So if for a study opportunity, if anyone would Google Atbash cipher, they would see, for example, and I'm gonna give you a few examples: A equals Z, B equals Y.
Or we would say Alif would equal Yod. Or is it like the alpha would equal omega, is essentially, put it like that.
Okay, yep, that as well. Okay. And Matriarch Mother Salima, did you have something to share with us?
Well, yes, actually, D Calico just went leaps and bounds. I wanted to go back to when VJ spoke of, and D Calico asked him about the androgynous beings. Okay, so when we do Bible study, we teach our youth that Eve is not a woman, because you need a man and a woman to make a man or a woman child. Eve did not have that. She had one parent, which was Adam, and she was cloned from Adam's rib.
Wow.
Well, they tried to tweak her to make her more like us, but no, that didn't work well, because when you look throughout the history of the Bible, you can go back to say like Abram and Sarai. They are androgynous beings. They have a feminine look to them a little bit, but they're really androgynous beings. They are not true women, which is why their species has different techniques to have children. Okay. Eve is not a woman. Eve is a man tweaked to look and behave, and was hopefully to give and do what our people could do, what our women could do. So these beings throughout the Bible, when you I forgot the other king's wife, but she couldn't have a baby for years and years. And I am not under the impression that she had a baby, and neither did Sarai. Sarai just served Abraham faithfully, because Sarai was androgynous. He said she was his sister, but I believe Sarai was a man also, tweaked to look like a woman, because that's what these beings have been doing since they came into existence on this realm. See, and that's why they have things like in vitro fertilization, fertility treatments, the Genome Project, CRISPR. They got all these things because they're not actually what we are. Now, I might be stepping on a few toes, but when you said androgynous, that just brought that to light. Like, Eve is not a woman. So when we have people that look like me, I feel kind of sad for them, talking about, I'm from the Eve line. Eve can't even have a baby. What are you talking about? She is not a real woman. I am a woman. I have a mother and a father. I birthed 5 children. I am a woman. I didn't need fertility or anything like that. So these beings, yeah, they bought the war. When you read Revelations 12, the dragon chased the great mother to earth. And when he couldn't get her or devour her child, he made war against us. And that war has been going on since they've been here. Everybody has had to fight them off. China, before it was China, it was Mongolian. They built the Great Wall because they didn't want to deal with these beings. And they're androgynous beings. We don't know what they are really, you know what I'm saying? Because they are creations. They weren't natural manifestations of this realm. Okay, so when you think of the dragon trying to devour the child when the great mother was having her baby, think of adrenochrome. I mean, really, if you want to start breaking it down on that, we talking about the war in heaven. This is heaven. They brought the war to us. And we have to stay focused on what's really going on. These beings are not what they say they are. And the proof is in their behavior. The proof is in their unjust treatment of our planet, of this realm. They destroy everything. And they do it in whatever, for whatever sake or whatever laws that they created to justify what they do. But let it be known, Eve is not a woman. We are women. We have mothers and fathers. You are a real man. You have a mother and a father. So the descendants of the DOBs of this beast, they are not what they appear to be. They didn't even have a sex because and that's why we call them the beast. It didn't even have a sex. That was the purpose of creating Adam and Eve, so it could function on this realm, this heavenly realm, because right here it has everything it needs to feed itself. But that time is coming to an end, and that depends on us. So when we talk of heaven on earth, I mean, you know, a war in heaven, that's what it is. And I don't mind that I'm stepping on toe. Eve is not a woman. Abraham is that woman he called Sarai as his sister. I don't think that was his sister. I think that's why she was able to get down with the pharaohs in Egypt and stuff and these chieftains, because they were curious about, like, what is that? And he's telling her to say, I'm his sister. And she obviously had a womanesque look to her for them to want to get down. But then they were robbing the people. How can you be a great, you know, they tell Abraham is this great thing, but you were pimping your wife to chieftains and leaders of different worlds. And it wasn't his wife because she didn't have a baby. They did that clone thing or whatever they do the first time they come into creation. So they are androgynous beings. You see it in the news right now all the time. Trans getting uteruses, or women or women like them that can't even have a baby from birth. Some of them not even born with a uterus. Where they getting them uteruses from? They getting them from us. Okay, so this is the war. When you decided to create war in this realm, you had to instigate a war between us, the great mothers, because you need us to survive on this realm. So I just wanted to get back to that androgynous part, that, yeah, they're not women. And that's part of the reason for the war, what's been going on. They're not real. They're not like us. They're mankind, like kind of like a man, kind of like a woman. And they put it in their own Bible about what they really is. All you got to do is sit back and read it. That's why I wanted VJ to go back. He said Genesis 4, but I wasn't sure. It's 2 Genesis, Genesis 1, Genesis 2. So he didn't make it clear to me when he said Genesis 4 what he meant, but I'm all right with that. But yeah, so you can look up Abraham and Sarai's story in Genesis 12, Abraham in Egypt. 12:10 is the beginning of that, I believe. But yeah, go back to Genesis and look up who they are. They are the descendants of the beast. That's why I call them DOBs.
Yeah. Hey, and I like what you just touched on, sis, because put like this, that the whole Garden of Eden, Eden is where we get in the word Eve. Eve is Eden. You know, it's like saying the Garden of Eve. It's just like Edom, Edom. We spell it like that, but that's still Edomites are from Adam. You feel me? Edom, Adam, or Eden and Eve. So in the original interpretations of the Bible, when it said the Garden of Eden, when it mentioned Eve, when it mentioned the serpent, every time it had the same character of letter. And the letter, and you know, basically what I'm saying is the garden is like the Gan of Eden. It's not called the Garden of Eden. It's called the Gan. Gan, where we get the words like, you know, organ or organic. You feel me? The Gan meaning like the womb or the garden, like the, you know, a place where a seed can be, you know, grown. So the Gan of Eden could essentially mean the womb of Eve herself, because when they were saying the serpent, they would say Chawa, which is just like Hawa, and Hawa is the ancient Hebrew word for Eve. It was Hawa. So the serpent was even called Chawa, and she is Hawa. And we talking about the Gan of Eden, you know. So each one of these, when it was written in Hebrew, were written with the same word. So it was calling what we call the serpent, it was calling her that. You know, when it was talking about the whole garden itself, it was calling it her. You know, when it was talking about the woman, it was calling it Hawa. And we even got the word Hawa in Yahweh. You feel me? Like the people will see the name Yah and Weh, which is just a shortening of Yahweh. It's a shortening of that word. And that shows you there's a duality. You know, is Yah, which is Tahuti essentially. You feel me? The Most High is Yah plus Hawa. And Hawa is Eve. You know, and like I just told you, Hawa means serpent. And we know, like you said, you know, the way they produce their offspring, like a serpent can do parthenogenesis. You feel me? But it seemed like, you know, that's why they're kind of being called dragons, because they've lost, because they're pretty much they're not non-existent, because people they say 1 out of every 1,100 births is dual sex. They'll call it dual sex nowadays, but it just means androgynous. It means a hermaphrodite, you know. So 1 out of every 1,100 kids, and it's thousands of kids born every day. So that means every day, you know, there's androgynous beings being born, and you know, and that's why they make this transvestite thing and all this, you know, drag queen thing a norm, so that those people can blend in society. You know, it's very wild. But I kind of I'm kind of following up on what you said. That was kind of deep. How you say you know, that they, like, number one, she was birthed from Adam in that kind of a sense. Like he was androgynous, or more, you know, he parthenogenically created her, and so on and so forth. And same with, like you say, Sarah and Abram. You know, Sarah and Abram is in his culture, that's Sarawatsi and Barama. You feel me? Because, you know, we all know that these anglicized, Christianized names like Abraham and Sarah, like these are new words. So Sarawatsi and Barama would predate that, you know, and it's all the same. And that's what we get in the left and the right brain. You know, we call it Sarah and Abram. When you put it together, we're talking about the cerebrum. You know, your cerebrum. You know, that's the you know, the metaphor for Sarah and Abram is the cerebrum. I yield the floor.
Okay, I appreciate all of what you are both sharing. VJ, do you have something for us?
Yeah. It's like when it says about androgynous beings, like we have the most ancient androgynous being Shiva, and it's like Shiva is called as Ardhanarishvara in Sanskrit, means half male, half female. This person or this deity is coming out of the Great Mother, and she had designed him like sometimes he's male, sometimes he's female. You don't know what he is, and his this is the confusion that they create, and Mother had produced a lot of beings, and we I agree with Salima what she told, like she told like these are not the original men and women created by the Most High, and when it comes to the Most High creation, it is perfect. You have the yin and yang, and you have the male and the female aspect to it, and they are fighting a war against the Most High children, and Most High children doesn't know they are in the war against them, and the mother had erased all the memories from the Most High children, and 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 it is always a Ardhanarishvara. It is a homosexual cult. That's what I want to say. So the homosexual cult is Shiva, and we were destroying all the temples of Shiva as Muslim Moors, because the people living in India and the Moors living in India, they joined Islam, and then they started destroying all the temples of Shiva because it is a homosexual cult. And then came Ayyappa. So in Ayyappa, they say like the two males had intercourse, and they gave birth to a god, and everybody is praying to them. So this is what it's like. So, and when you go into Baphomet, the images and everything that goes back to the origins of the Satan, and how the Satan changes himself. He always transforms himself into different beings. Like he's not happy with what he is all the time. That means Satan is originally a female being, and it changes itself into male being with muscles and everything, and then he again changes into female. So this is what it is. It's a confusion created in between us, so that the Most High children doesn't know the real truth, what they are.
Thank you, VJ. Does anyone have something to add to that? Salima?
No, he was on the money.
Okay. D Calico?
You know me, I'm in the, it's like I'm in the back room going through the files. I was trying to pull up something right quick, but
Okay.
I'm just following whatever VJ wanted to touch on next while I try to pull up a slide.
Okay. VJ, would you like to share anything else while D Calico prepares a slide?
Right. So it's like the Great Mother is waiting in the Virgo galaxy. She's waiting in the Virgo galaxy. It's Virgo constellation. So Virgo means like she's a virgin-like thing. She's waiting there with her black hole. That black hole is enormous, and the scientists had named it. They had discovered it. The Hubble telescope had discovered it. Everybody is waiting, and she will pluck all the stars and everything into her. That is what's her plan is all about, and somehow Most High has to stop it. So as human beings, we are the spectators now. So and about this androgynous beings, like they came into existence, and then and the Great Mother is helping them, all the androgynous beings, whatever they may be, and they are here to create the chaos. That's what it is, and we have also seen like the angels having intercourse with the daughters of men, and then they create Nephilim. NFL Nephilim beings. So we have everybody on the planet Earth now, and so the plan of the Most High is to take them into rapture, his own beings. So it is up to you to decide like which side you want to be. Like you want to be in the side of the Most High, or you want to, because Most High had given chance for every being to repent. That's what it is. But everybody can be in his side. So I had while studying the Kabbalah and Kabbalion and then Zohar, and while studying my studies on the ancient studies, I came across this Tree of Life. The Tree of Life has 10 cylinders in it, and each cylinder is, that means each stage you have to go through what you have to do to reach the top, to reach the Christ peak. And Mother has also created Kulipath. So this is Tree of Life, and Kulipath is the Tree of Life for the Mother. So Mother had created. So that is why the Most High had said, anybody who want to follow me can follow me. That's what it is. And I will take anybody into my kingdom if he is righteous. So that is, so if you don't like the ways of the Most High, you can always follow the ways of the Great Mother, and the ways of the Great Mother are very, very hard. So the people living in caves in India, they get the visitations from these beings. So the thing is happening. So we have all these things on our planet, and when you look into the underworld is real. All the people, those who are dead, without knowing the Most High, they go to the underworld. Even the Christ had lived and preached in the underworld, preached his word in the underworld. So this is real, and you see that the Most High said that I have many mansions in my Father's house. So it's like so if you don't like the Most High, his the Most High is authoritative, right? And he wants everybody to follow his orders, and he doesn't want anybody to be like immoral, or to be sexually immoral, or like to follow fornication or any other paths. So if you don't like it, you can go to the Mother, and mother's way is like it is the Philly path. I just saw the Philly path in my visions, and it was very, very. It's not good for my spirit and my soul. So that is what I want to say. So always there are chances. There are hope. So that is what it is, and a lot of people are in the underground. A lot of dead people are in the underground, waiting to be resurrected. And that means like the revelation had already had prophesied that the great Mother and his 7 angels, seven shaitans, and everybody would be destroyed. So that war will be happening very soon. That's what I feel like. And there in the Revelation chapter 17, they refer to 7 kings who are there, and 8th is yet to come. So 7 kings. The first king is Babylonian Empire. The second one is Medo-Persia or Assyrian Empire. The third is the Greek Empire. The fourth is Roman Empire, which transformed itself into Roman Catholic Empire. The fifth one is English Empire, England Empire, and the sixth one is like the sixth empire is American Empire. So everybody doesn't tell that America is not in the Bible, but the sixth empire, because everything is connected to the dollar in the world, and everybody relies on America for everything. So America is ruling the world as we speak, and the sixth empire is America, and American empire is also called Mystery Babylon, and that's what it is. So America is hugely connected to the revelations in the book of Bible, and in chapter 7, the great harlot, the Mystery Babylon is fallen. That's what it is. And in the Revelation chapter 17, it is clearly written about America. So there's nothing to be afraid of or anything. Everybody, country to country, they don't fight against country. So nobody has got that much interest to fight one another. They only are fighting the Most High. That's what it is. And they are fighting. That means they are not fighting for their rights or anything. They are fighting the Most High. Why are you doing this to us? And I don't know. They don't like the laws of the Most High. They don't want to keep His commandments, and that is why they are fighting. So this is why I'm here, and can speak on this.
Okay. Thank you, VJ, for sharing that. D Calico or Salima, you have something to follow up with?
Yeah, I had wanted to ask the brother, was he familiar with the Bible, with the Bible, Hebraically? Is more than, I see he definitely knows the English, but the way he studies, I'm pretty sure he knows the Hebraic also, right? Like brother VJ, like have you ever studied the Bible in Hebrew? Like as far as like have you ever studied any of the words and took it back to its original meaning, like Hebrew?
No. I wasn't. That means like somebody had offered me to study Hebrew, but I was reading Kabbalah and I was reading Zohar, and I did not study the Hebrew alphabets, which are studied from left to right. So yeah. I did not study the Hebrew alphabet. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, how they say, like, depending on the culture, like it's like 99 names of God,
Right.
And would you agree that El Shaddai is the Most High, or is the Creator?
El Shaddai, that means like Els are us, the gods. That means like El means it's the 13th dimension. 13th dimension, and our skull is structured in the form of El, and the God of the creation is always a big mystery. That's what it is like. So there are Elohims who are responsible for the creation, and according to the Hebrew, there are 72 names of gods that I know, and I don't know that whether the name they call upon them has the vibration to call upon the Most High. So that is a big mystery to me. The same thing as the mystery to the Egyptians. They did not name any god as the creator god. They say Ptah is the creator god, but it is not. They say Amun is the creator god. It's not. And Dogon says Amma. It's not. So you have the big mystery again. So that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, in Genesis, we have mention of El Shaddai, and he could be rendered as the multi-breasted one. So this is where you get the argument when people say God had breasts, So it's essentially showing you either androgyny, or like you're saying, it's an Elohim of sorts, which would mean, the host of heaven, meaning many, many gods. You feel me? Or, it's kind of, making so many separations from what we call in God, because we like to say he. And you know what I'm saying? Then you got the new age people will only say she. but are we truly dealing in androgyny? You feel me? Like, for everything to come from one thing, could it be feminine? You know what I mean? Or could it only be? It can't just. I don't know if it could be just. I don't think it could be just masculine. And by the looks of things, I don't think it could be only feminine. I don't know. I'm kind of getting out there, but I know El Shaddai. Meaning the multi-breasted one. And hold on, I'm gonna tap in on that. Give you my breakdown because it's saying the Judaic name of God, which is El Shaddai, or like obviously they're showing in the Bible when you see God Almighty, it really means El Shaddai. Just like if you see capital G, capital O, capital D, then it's really Yahweh. And if it's G, if it's a Lord, then or Adonai, it just gets deep. Every time you see in these words written and how it's written, whether it's lowercase or capital, it's meaning one of these, like you say, 72 names of God in Hebrew. But in Arabic, they'll tell you 99 names of God. But El Shaddai, or just Shaddai, is one of the names of God of Israel. El Shaddai is conventionally translated in English as God Almighty. And they put it in quotations, they let you know in Latin, it says Deus, omnipotence. Deus is, the goddess of heaven. You feel me? Some people look at Deus as evil, like we were just saying, Amma. You feel me? But like I say from my studies, Deus is where we get in the caduceus. Ka meaning the soul. So when we talking about the caduceus, we talking about that serpent. Once again, we talking about those two serpents going up that tree of life. And that's the Ka of Deus. And we're saying right here, God Almighty is Deus, omnipotence. So when we saying God is omnipotent, we're saying God is Deus. You know what I mean? So, and all throughout the Bible, like they were interweaving, like serpently, they were coming back and forth with the masculine God and the feminine God. They were, it's interwoven. You know what I'm saying? But the way we've been taught, we only getting it like it's all matriarchal or all patriarchal, when there's a king and a queen of heaven. And that's what the word Yahweh truly means. Or Yahweh, however you want to put it. Or if you just want to, if we would have picked two separate names of these 72, one would most likely be masculine and one would be feminine. So we would still have that Kabbalistic unity going on now. You want to hear what my brother VJ might have to say?
Right.
Go ahead, VJ.
Right. It's like there's always a masculine and feminine, but just like when you go into the heavens, like we have the divine feminine, which is Amma, Amen, and her name is acknowledged in all the religions, and even the Christians pray her name. And after seal the prayer with Amen, the hidden one, Amma. He had hidden her from the Bible, and we have the divine masculine. So all the other thoughts that are coming out, he may be androgynous, this and that. We became so filthy that we cannot utter his name with our mouth. That's what it is. Otherwise, his name has so much vibration that it can shake everything. So that is the reason why his name has been hidden from us. And we have the 72 names of Elohim, or 99 names of Elohim in Hebrew. So those names have frequency to it, and when uttered in a proper way, that frequency would create great powers among us. And it's not an androgynous being, because like the Satan, I know for sure that like these 7 Satans that Mother had created, they became jealous of the Mother's creation. They started destroying the Mother's creation, and Amma had sent them into this world out of the waters, and when they came into the water, she gave them power to rule over these kingdoms, and they were again changing themselves into males and androgynous beings and whatnot, into chaos. These are all the lower beings, these androgynous beings. But when you look into the top spot, highest spot, even when you look into the highest spot in the government or whatever, you give it not to a androgynous kind of a person. You give it to a masculine person or a feminine. That's what it is. So they can deal with it. These are the lower beings. That's what I with my esoteric knowledge I came to know about, because I have the vision sometimes. I have the visions of the Most High. I have the visions of the Elohim. So I have the visions of the Christ beings. So this is what I experience and what I see from my esoteric knowledge, because not much of the knowledge has been hidden, because there is always the mother. Her presence is there. She won't let you know everything. And Mosai doesn't let you know about himself to you, about himself as well. So this is always there. So this is what I want to speak on.
Thank you, VJ, for sharing that. Matriarch Mother Salima, if you'd like to speak, you'd have to unmute your mic first. And or DeCalico, if you'd like to speak, go ahead. Either one.
Actually, I would like to speak on what DeCalico was saying about El Shaddai, the God of Israel. DeCalico, what are you basing the El Shaddai is the God of Israel on? Out of the readings of the Bible?
Yeah, when you go back to the original Hebrew, real scripture, you know, all scripture is written in Hebrew. So when we go back to Hebrew, they never would have used the word God. They would have never used the word Lord. They wouldn't even use Adonai. You know, they wouldn't have used anything but El or Yah. You know, El should be all throughout the Old Testament, the Torah. You know, and that's why you get different renderings of El. You know, El Elyon, El Elo. You know, when you say Elohim, that's just a plural of Elo. So when we saying ye are God, we should really say ye are Elos, you know, or ye are Els, because Elo plural is Elohim. So that means many gods in a sense. That's why I say God said in the congregation of the mighty, you know, which is the Elohim, meaning all of these are Els. You know, that's the first thing we need to see, you know. But you know, is you gotta really tap in to the Old Testament, you know, the Old Testament, basically. Because I can't deal with the New Testament. I can't deal with it. You know, it's not even written in Hebrew. So it can't be scripture. You know what I mean? You know, they tell you straight up it's epistles. Epistles means letters. So these are letters that were, you know, getting transcribed to, you know, back and forth from Luke and Paul, so-called, you know, Luke and Saul. And they collected these letters, confiscated them, and made testaments out of it. You know, changing the words, of course. You know, that's why so many contradictions in what we call the New Testament. But it's not testament. It's not scripture. You know, it's just it's epistles. So when you go back to the Old Testament, you're gonna see that like they say over 2,000 times the word Yahweh was taken out of there. You know, but at the same time, there's hundreds of times that El Shaddai was taken out of there. You know, there's hundreds of times El Elyon. You know, like if we really study the old, we'll be like, whoa, I thought they was just talking about one God. You know, so it's really polytheistic. You know, that's why the Bible is the one we use is 66 books. You feel me? It could be 88 or even more. It could be hundreds, you know, books. But we going off just these 66. And we love to think that they all represent one God or they all coming out of some same culture. These books are from different cultures. That's why Brother VJ's culture can break down so much of the Bible, because a lot of it came from there. You know, a lot of it came from Kemet. You know, all of these different regions and their different books, which the Europeans, when they learn how to read, You know, this was gold. You know, to many parts of the world, knowledge is wealth. You feel me? That's why you see the rabbis are, you know, the highest, you know, they're basically the highest authority in the Jewish culture. So that just shows you that they honor their teachers, because, you know, a rabbi means a teacher. You know, and Hindus, they honor their yogis and their gurus. You know, they don't care if you can sing and dance. You know, we over here honoring you know, celebrities, but a teacher should be what's held high, because that's where we get the word nobility. Nobility meaning knowledge. So the people with the knowledge, the lawyers and the doctors, you feel me, the true teachers, the professors, like they are nobility, you know, and we are very noble ourselves. But anything else you wanted to ask about that, sister?
No, thank you. Thank you. That was enlightening. Because when I was studying, I was under the impression that Elohim was one of the false gods because the Lord was angered with Israel. That El Shaddai was one of the false gods because the Lord was the original God, was, you know, angry with Israel because of the state of the world in which Israel helped to create. And that El Shaddai was the God of Israel, that this God, whoever this being was behind part of the state that the world is in today, because Israel is one of the biggest corruptors of the world.
Yeah, but they just ran off with a good word. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Them people. It's just like saying, see, they slick. They know most of the world hasn't truly woken. So much knowledge is like, you know, held secret. So they'll be like, it's a terrorist group called ISIS. You know what I mean? Just to destroy the name. You know what I'm saying? They'll, like when Trump first came in, he dropped the Moab bomb. You know, Moab. You know, Moors would tell you we're Moabites. You feel me? So we're from Moab, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hold on, why you gotta name the bomb Moab? You know, he know what he be doing. You know, they'll just make an acronym out of it. Oh, Moab means mother of all bombs. You know, but they know Ruth was a Moabite. You know, the great grandmother of Jesus. You know, where we all claim our descendancy. You feel me? So we from the bloodline of Ruth. You know, we all know the bloodline comes through the mother. So we come through the bloodline of Ruth. You know, that's why, you know, we're of that Christ lineage. You know, that you know, the chosen ones. But yeah, you know, they like to destroy the word before people probably, you know, get engulfed with it. So, you know, it kind of be detestable. You know, it's like look how many people they've reached with this pseudoscience about Moors. So they'll be like, Moors are race traders. So before you fully wake up, you already, you know, want your garlic and your cross to back them vampires up. You like, man, I ain't messing with them Moors. You know, like that, you know, like, and then we got to know we've been brainwashed because we like to say things like, oh, that should be a red flag. You know, we using European terminology. You know what I mean? If anything, we should say when something's wrong, we should say that should be a striped flag. You know, because a red flag is the Moors flag. You feel me? The flag of the Moors. So only the European would have seen it as evil and been like, or, you know, use that as a bad terminology to describe things that aren't good. Be like, hey man, that should be a red flag. You know, when you seen that, man, you should have thought of this. You feel me? So they demonizing our flag. Even over here in this part of the world, they call that all red flag. They call it the slave time flag. You know, they tried to say this was the flag of the slave. That's where we're getting Superman from, because the people will wear that all red flag on their back. You know, carrying and walking with it. You know, so that's where they get, you know, the idea of a cape and all of this different stuff. But that's the cherry tree they chop down. So You know, when we saying that ought to be a red flag, it's just like saying, you know, I'm gonna romance my woman. When we know romance coming from the word Romans, you know, the Romans. So we just, you know, we stuck in a paradigm a little too much. That's what we saying God. You feel me? And there is no, like, God is not a noun. You know, the word God is a transitive verb. You know, it, a transitive verb is like an action. It's a, you know, action verb, like running, fishing. So, you know, the word God is like really guiding. You have to. It's an action. You know, which means invoke. It means to invoke the word God. So, you know, it's something you do, but it's not. It's not you. It's like saying we're black. No, 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 no. We can't be. That's just, you know, an adjective. You feel me? And you know, adjectives describe nouns, but it's not a noun. So it's not a person, place, or a thing. You feel me? And the same thing goes for the word God. It's not a person, a place, or a thing. You know, it's an action. You know, so it means to invoke. You know, even to pour out libations and such. But you know, that's what we do with our ancestors. We invoke them, and you know, we reverence them in that way, and that's Godding. So we are, or we can God, but we're not really God. We're Els. You know what I'm saying? We're Elos. We're Elohims. Or Netaru.
Anyone have any feedback? Okay. All right. So what I like to do is go ahead and close the show. And so I'm going to have everyone, starting with VJ, share what you would like the audience to know before we leave today. And then tell everyone who you are and where they can find you.
So this is Vijay Santosh, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Santosh El Kotla, and on Twitter, Nagawa13. And if you type in Red Dragon on YouTube, you will find my video, so you can subscribe me from there on YouTube. And I own a artificial intelligence, mobile development, mobile application development, web development, blockchain development company. So you can, if you want to learn computer science without going to the university, spending so much of money, you can I can help you land a job, or this is not a fake claim, because a lot of people had landed in good jobs in the USA. So you can earn good money from landing in from choosing the trade of software to become a software engineer. So I can certainly help you to learn computer coding or web development or blockchain technology, any technology you want to learn for a reasonable price. So you can contact me on that. My WhatsApp number is 0091 8977850444. So you can contact me on WhatsApp, and I can surely teach you to master the craft of software engineering. So there is a lot of money to be earned, and you don't need to worry about anything about the economic collapse or anything if you are a software engineer. So that is always there. And if you want to develop any tokens on blockchain, you can always contact me. And if you want to sell any of your items on the internet, and if you want a website, you can contact me. So this is Vijay Santosh. So thanks for listening to me, and I thank D Calico and Mother Salima for being on the show with me. I also thank Joy Ellen. So support Joy Ellen on her Cash App, so that she can bring good lectures to you, as she always does, and she's always working. So that means like coordination and all these things are not easy, and she's been coordinating. So So please support Joel and Brother Crumb on Cash App so that we can keep on running the Crumb TV and all these shows and bring much more hosts to you through Crumb TV.
Thank you, VJ. Matriarch Mother Salima, if you would share your comments you'd like everyone to know before we leave today, as well as share with them who you are and where they can find you.
Well, I must say I love this build. This was deep, and I think actually it gets deeper. I hope we get to continue about the war in heaven, specifically about what's going on in our realm and how when we use these tools, the Bible, the Quran, the Hebrew Bible, that they're just tools to help us see into this future, into this present, and that there is a future after this war. So I would like to continue this, especially when we talk about the Moors, because I was gonna, it gets deeper, especially when we realize how big a part that the Moors have played in what's going on in this continent also. My name is Mother Salima Ellis. You can find me on Facebook. My page is Salima Ellis. I'm always putting out videos. You can find my Pattern Masters page on Facebook, and you can also find my school, Universal Mind School of Evolution. I would like to thank Matriarch Joy Allen once again for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I have brought something valuable to the build for everyone this evening. Thank you again, Brother VJ, and it was a pleasure to work with you, D. Calico. Thank you for all the knowledge. Thank you, thank you. Yes, the rabbit hole gets deeper. I hope to do it all again with you all soon.
Hey, I thank you, and I thank you all, you know, especially the Sister Joy, for doing what needs to be done, you know, bringing that unity, you know, keeping us, you know, together, bringing that science, you feel me, uncovering what may not be known, you know. So like the name of this show, The War in Heaven, you know, I probably want to urge y'all to go, you know, also kind of check out the first video, me and my brother Crumb Snatcher, you know, Crumb TV, when we did the War in Heaven, you know, we labeled it, you know, we were speaking astrologically, so we went ahead and with the title The Sun versus Saturn, you know, and we took it there, of course. So, you know, come travel the stars and you know, get a glimpse on how, you know, what the souls had going on, and then kind of apply it all to, you know, this biblical knowledge. You feel me? Because like we say, as above, so below. And, you know, it was my pleasure, you know, building with all y'all. And Brother VJ, you know, it was a pleasure. Most definitely, I want you to know. And Sister Salima, for sure. I appreciate the love.
Gratitude to everyone who has joined us, everyone who will watch this video, everyone who will have knowledge of this video. I ask that you all share this video. Someone will get something from it. And if you collaborate with them, you'll be able to exchange notes. And then whatever they gathered from it, they'll be able to share with you and vice versa. And the build will continue. I ask that you like the video and comment on the video. I do address the comments after the show has aired. So with the value that you bring, it will add to future shows. And I will bring that information to the platform as well. I also want to thank everyone on the panel for joining me today. I want to thank Matriarch Mother Salima and Brother D. Calico for being here at this time of the day. And from where I'm from right now, time is not even real. But, you know, sometimes depending on your day you had, you might be tired in your body and your physical form. I appreciate VJ tuning in with us and working with me through the technical difficulties. He is having reception issues in southern India, which is where he is at. And he is further along in his day today than we are time-wise. I want to share that the videos that VJ and D Calico mentioned is in the description. The video from VJ is called Red Dragon, Great Mother, and War in Heavens, the Most High. And also in the description, you'll see the video that D Calico mentioned is called The Sun versus Saturn. And I attached a video that I was in that is called Queen of the Stars. And if you would check out those videos, and there's plenty of content in there to follow up what we have shared with you today. This video right now is streaming on my YouTube page, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. And I have shared it on my Facebook page, Joy Allen, which is where you can find me. And it is also playing in my Facebook group, Karma Did What? That's the name of that group on Facebook. You can also find me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MKDTNT. VJ mentioned my Cash App is $TNT96MRD. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, D Calico has brought a $1 challenge, a dollar challenge to everybody. And so after we get off here, I'm gonna see if anybody met that challenge that D Calico put out there. When we talked earlier today, I told him I'd put it out there. Let's see here. I think that's all I want to share. And from this build, I got 2 topics for future shows. So far, I have 2 just from this build. So we will be back. And I want to piggyback off of something that D Calico said as far as us all coming together. And through this platform, we are breaking down barriers. We are coming together. We are bringing the cultures together. I know that there is the one picture. There is a oneness. The oneness has been broken up into many sections and parts. And the parts then there is an attempt on those sections to be completely destroyed. So I appreciate the acknowledgement of my effort to bring the parts together, to do my best, to do my part to do so. And I'm going to get off here. I appreciate you all again, and we'll see you next time here on the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty on your YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel right here, because we got a lot more coming, a lot more content, we promise you. And we'll see you all next time.